will not practice today. Both Anthony Fasano and Justin will be limited in what they do. Anthony's going to work a little bit with the scout team, and kind of get back in the swing and see how he feels. That's kind of the fourth phase of the 5 phases that the guys go through. And then Justin he's going to do some warm-up individual work and just see how he feels there. And the rest of the guys, everybody else is practicing. We look forward to the challenge of playing the Oakland Raiders, and we're on our second go-around with them, and the first one was a challenge for 4 quarters, and we're not expecting anything less here. So we understand the process and what we need to do to get ourselves ready to go on the road and play against a good football team. And the guys started that with a walkthrough this morning and this afternoon.
And the possibility exists you guys could have clinched a playoff spot either by kickoff or early in the game. If you do clinch a playoff spot, will that at all affect how you guys approach Sunday's game?
No.
You're going to play to win.
No, that's what we
Coach, can you talk a little bit about Tom Hawley being the player of the week again, and this time coming off an injury and not having Justin there to kind of, help create the pressure from both sides?
Yeah, no, it's Tamba is the AFC Defensive Player of the Week, and it's well deserved. He's worked, he's worked very hard in the offseason. He's worked very hard every practice. I mean, you get every play is his last play. That's how he approaches it, without Houston on the other side, he did this. But it's tribute to the rest of the guys, which Tom always says. I mean, but it's true. There are other guys here that are in pass rush positions. Zombo in particular was upped his game and really done a nice job for us. But likewise with the interior guys. But not taking away from Tamba, you love to see a player like this get the credit that he gets because he works so stinking hard, and he's all in all the time. He's all about team. He doesn't get caught up in all of this, but he brings it every snap, and you appreciate that from the coach's staff.
Coach, when you think of the Raiders and the black hole, what comes to mind?
I've had a chance to take teams in there a couple times, and it's a tough place to play from that standpoint. The fans they take a lot of pride in making that the black hole. So we get all that, but most important is you're preparing yourself to play that football team, and so it's important that you focus in on that process that it takes. And we respect them as a football team. We respect them. They got good players. They got good coaches. They've had some changeover there, player-wise, this season. They brought us a few new guys, and we feel like they've got it. They've got the defense down. They do a ton of things defensively, offensively. They've got a nice little mix going right there, and special teams. One of the best special teams coaches in the National Football League. I'm very familiar with him, Bobby Abrams. So, and he does a nice job with the group. So we know that we've got to prepare for the football team. The fans aside, not taking anything away from them, but we've got to make sure that we handle the tough football team first.
And can you identify some of the good things Ron Hudson does for your football team?
Probably tell you just his leadership ability and the stability of him being there every day and working hard every day. He's the transmitter from the right side to the left side. He has a ton of responsibility. The only one with probably more, but I'm not taking anything away from the importance of his responsibility here as a quarterback. I mean, they've got to be on the same page. They got to be
that to your team, to just be able to have that center being there every single snap? I mean, what value does that bring when you're trying to get offense to mesh?
Well, it's huge, and that's a huge part of it. You have to have communication up front. Defenses are way too complex today, and they're gonna hold things right to the end. And somehow you gotta get it communicated, you gotta do it, whether it's in a black hole, whether it's in arrow, where you're in a loud crowd, you gotta make sure that you get that transmitted across the line. So, or whether you're playing at home, where it's a little easier to do that. But anyways, listen, it's an important position. He's handled it very well. We've loaded him up. He's handled the load.
Coach, how do you prepare for a team that has nothing to lose, that can go for fourth downs and go for onside kicks and things like that? When you get to this point of the year, there are those teams out there, and the Raiders would be one of them.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, yeah, we knew that situation going into this past week. And so you got to stay, there's no time to have a mental lapse. You just can't, you got to be so focused and knowing that anything's possible. I mean, you feel that way anyways, but anything's possible. We understand that, and players know it, the coaches know it. Keep a radar up for us.
Was there a time, Coach, earlier this year where you thought maybe you weren't going to have a team that could win in any of the three phases, that you weren't quite complete enough? And as you get closer to the postseason, how do you feel like you are right now with the potential to win any game with any of the three phases?
I'm not sure I felt that way, the first part of that I felt that any of the three phases wouldn't work. Do we have room? We still have room to improve, tremendous amount of room to improve. I've seen improvement over the weeks that we've been together. And I've seen some young guys step up, and that's probably where your biggest question kind of comes in, like how are they going to fit in there? Or they move, or Doris brought in the guys before this, how are they going to fit in? How fast are they going to learn? But they all everybody handled that, or has handled that well, and they've continued to improve better. So I haven't felt an emptiness in either one of those phases, right? A lack of hope or that. I never felt that. It's just my young guys trying to, or you guys trying to catch up real quick.
And if you could just speak to Quentin Dennis, and obviously things didn't work out for him in Philadelphia, you know, in the UFL, just the way he's been able to kind of reclaim his career a little bit.
Yeah, Quentin drafted him in Philadelphia, and then we asked him to fill some small shoes, you know, with Brian Dawkins, mine, future Hall of Famers, to step in and take his spot. But that's tough, that'd be your first year, so, or second year, I can't remember, first or second year it was. And, you know, it didn't work for him. It just didn't. Well, then he's a tough kid. I knew a little bit about him having coached at UTEP. I knew the coach there and the athletic director there and so on. So I knew even if it didn't work at Philly, that he'd keep at it. He's a talented guy. So whatever the road was, he was able to get back to Houston and do a nice job there, a respectable job there. And I felt very comfortable with bringing him here. And he's a good kid that works hard. And he's not afraid to admit a mistake if he makes one. He's a stand-up guy, which you guys have had to deal with, you know that. I appreciate him. He's a good special teams player. And, you know, he returned for me when he was a pup, a young rookie, I think. And he did a nice job for him. So,
It's one thing to amplify, I'm sorry.
No, Randy, then Karen. I got you.
I'd like to ask two things. It's one thing to amplify on Dave here. You have one great kick returner, but you have three. I mean, you got kick returns from three different guys. Can you talk about what that means to this team, and what does this for your team to be able to?
a couple of them had experience, but now didn't. He was, and so that's somebody that Dave and Kevin have kind of groomed and taught. I got a couple others that do it too, that we haven't used it. It's a tribute to the players, but it's also a tribute to the coaches and the scheme that they put together for the guys. And then the trust they have in that. Some of those are a little different, and they're all in. They want to make it work.
Derek Johnson kind of got you guys going on defense the other day, because he does a lot. It just seems like he comes up with that first big play, whether it's tackling a guy for a 5-yard loss on the first running play of the game, or that early interception, did it in Philly, tapping the ball. Just can you frame Derek Johnson's, at this stage of his career, just his contribution to this effort?
Great player. I mean, it's time tested, right? So he's a great player, great kid, great leader. Guys respect him. They just know he's going to do that. I've been lucky enough to be around some great players, and they do just what you're saying. When you need a play, they somehow make a play. And thus, that's what makes him great. So he's done it year after year. It's not something new. I appreciate working with him.
Coach, have you seen anything different from the Raiders since you last played them? They're 2-5. Are they trying to, have you seen them trying to do anything to kind of ignite the team?
The thing that I've seen was kind of what I mentioned a little bit earlier, is that they do a lot of things on defense. And they had some changeover, they had some new faces on that team. And you see them kind of flying around. They've taken on 24's personality just a bit. And before, there might be a guy that pops open here, you don't see that anymore. Everybody's covered, everybody's tight. You got to work for everything you're going to get. Offensively, they've had a couple different quarterbacks working in there. Prior played against us. Kid. So I mean, he's really on fire for a few weeks here. They're putting up numbers, and then they're working Pryor back in, so they've got a nice little mix going there. We know that. We know there's a small margin between winning and losing in the National Football League. We got it. We understand. We've been on the plus side of that a couple times, so we understand how that works. And we're going to prepare ourselves that way. We respect them, and we got to get ourselves ready to play against a good team.
All right, thank you.